Indestructible Gaming. Select your character. Musket Shot. Mr. K. Let the battle begin. Get ready for a battle unknown. 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to Indestructible Gaming and More. I'm Musket Shot. Alongside me is my co-host, Mr. K. Mr. K, hello.
Welcome to another episode of Indestructible Gaming with Musket Shot and me, Mr. K.
Nice. Good intro. Today we got two games I'm going to be talking about. One is called Slay the Spire, and the other one is called Century, Age of Ashes. And we're going to start first with Slay the Spire, a game developed by Megacrit, MEGA space CRIT. It's their only game right now. They're based in Seattle, Washington. I think on their Twitter page they said that they're working on another game, so that's good. And it's published by Humble Games. And the only couple of games that I know of that are familiar to me that they publish is one called Forager, which the character kind of looks like the character Nobody from Nobody Saves the World.
Yeah, I played that game before. It's actually out on Game Pass right now if people are listening and want to try it. So
Yeah.
Really fun game.
Yeah, and the other game I've heard of and I've seen played at PAX East and other places, and is called Unpacking.
That's also on Game Pass.
Yeah. So
It's like a trend.
Yeah, so if you're interested in those games, you can check them out. But Slay the Spire is also on Game Pass, right?
Go figure.
Yeah, I think it was a free game for a while.
Was it? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I thought it was a free game for a while on Xbox, and then now it's now
May have been.
now it's a Game Pass game. But this is a game that was released in 2017. It's rated E for everyone. It's a single player game, and this game is. I know you played it a long time ago, so I've been playing it for a little while now and kind of been hooked on it. But it's a deck building card game and roguelike.
Yeah.
So the whole point of the game is basically you're trying to climb this spire through 3 different acts, 4 acts if you collect all the keys, and you encounter all kinds of enemies, bosses, and events along the way. And it's roguelike because everything's procedurally generated each time, right?
Yeah. And pretty much anything you go against is random, and the cards you'll get are random, as well as the enemy's cards that they use or their attacks.
Right.
And you progress through the map to progress through each level of the tower by selecting which route you want to go down.
Yeah, and sometimes there's 3 different routes you can choose to go.
Yeah, and each route can sometimes have different rewards waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes there's different symbols on the route, so you kind of you can kind of look at the route ahead of time and sort of try to figure out which is going to be the best route for you, maybe the least challenging, but I don't think it really makes a difference. I think it just a route may look sort of easy sometimes, but not really be, because they throw in some things here and there on those different routes. But the routes have different symbols on them. And well, let's first say that there's 4 different characters that you can play as. Right, there's Ironclad is one of the characters, Silent is another character, Defect is another character, and Watcher is the other character. So there's 4 different characters. You have to I think you start off with Ironclad, right? Correct? And then you unlock the others as you go along, as you play.
Yeah, just I think the second character you unlock just by just playing the game.
Right, yes.
And I think dying once or something like that. I can't remember. It was some easy way to get him.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something crazy beat the game without dying or anything.
Right. Yeah, I think as of right now, I have Ironclad, Silent, and Defect. I don't have Watcher at the moment. I haven't. I
Yeah,
think
Watcher's like the last one you unlock.
Yeah, I think you have to really kind of beat a couple, or at least a couple of the spires to get Watcher. To
Yeah,
unlock Watcher.
if the Watcher sounds familiar, she's gonna be a character you can play as in the upcoming game, Framemakers. We talked about it before in one of our previous episodes.
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool. The game you can, like I said, you can go down the different routes. There's different categories or different things, symbols that you can look at that kind of tell you what might be along the route you're on. So there's like sometimes there's a merchant, which you can, it looks like a bag of money. You can stop and you can buy cards from the merchant. You can also buy potions and things like that. So you're basically each time you go, you're given a bunch of cards in your hand, basically in your deck. And I think it feeds out 6 or 7 cards, I think, each time.
Yeah, and even in combat, you can combine them cards with certain other cards and do some really powerful attacks against enemies.
Yeah, the cards have values on them, so they could be value of 0, 1, 2, 3, and that really depends. Those values will be a turn, basically. So if you have a card that has a 0 on it, that's like a freebie. You can just use that one. If you have a card that has a 1, it's going to use up one of your turns, basically. If you have something that's a 2 on it, and you only get 3 turns usually per attack. So if you start off with a 2, now you've only got a 1. You can't use another card that's got a 2 on it or a 3. You'd have to go and use one that's got a 1 or a 0. So you kind of have to sort of plan your strategy a little bit at each time when you get the cards.
Which makes the game a lot more interesting in terms of combat mechanics and what cards you want to use with what other cards. What cards would go well with others.
Yeah. So some of the cards you get are you'll get cards that say block or defend, which those are good because if you use those, what happens is and the cards have like certain hit point values on them. So if it might say block 8 or something like that. And so what it does is if you use that card, you'll get like a little shield underneath your character, basically, and it'll say, okay, you've got 8 on this shield that'll block the enemy's attack. So if the enemy attacks you and hits you with for 6 hit points, then there's still 2 left on that shield before it actually starts hurting you, which is cool. So sometimes you have to play it out with using those defense type cards, and then there's of course like slashing and attacking type cards and different types of like you said, combo type attacks.
Yeah.
And you can use potions and things like that you get along the way as well. Some will heal you, some will help you in the attacks. When you played, was there a certain strategy that you had when you played?
Not really. I just kind of went. I think I kind of went more for health than attack. I really depended on what creature you go up against, because each creature seemed to have their own unique kind of play in the battle.
Right.
They each seem to have their own unique ability to use.
Yeah.
I remember I was fighting one creature that was able to make multiple of themselves.
Oh, so right. Yeah.
That was a little difficult to fight against. So you mostly aimed for health because I knew I was going to need it.
Right. Yeah. I think that's how I kind of use the cards, is that
it seemed to fluctuate depending on what creature I was up against.
Yeah. I mean, and the cards are random, so you never know. Each time you get a hand, your cards are dealt to you. You might have 3 block cards, which you could use all 3 of your turns and use block, or you might get 0 block cards and it's all attack cards, which is fine. And the creatures it shows how many hit points they have. So you kind of know each time you're hitting them how many hit points they have left. So you can that kind of helps with your strategy a little bit. But if you don't use the like block and defend type cards often, you're gonna get hurt a lot, and you may end up dying way before you should be dying on the Spire. So I think it really just depends on what you end up using for cards and stuff like that.
Speaking of cards, this game is 2D like cards.
Right. Yes.
This game is not 3D. It's definitely 2D.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually kept on one singular screen with a different background changing out with, of course, the enemies changing as well.
Right.
And the soundtrack for it, I remember being pretty good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I like the music a lot. I don't know why, but I don't know. It fits with the game.
For their first game, they did pretty well.
Yeah, I get the music stuck in my head a lot. So when you're going through the Spire, like I said, there's a merchant that you can come across occasionally. And the merchant, like I said, you could buy cards that you want. There's a whole bunch of different cards, and you get gold like every time you defeat an enemy. So you'll get gold and stuff like that. So you can buy the cards, or you can buy potions. But you can also sometimes not with a merchant, but there's another thing I'll tell you about in a second. But the merchant, you can buy stuff. You don't have to buy anything. You can skip the merchant. And because sometimes the merchant is right along the path and you have no choice but to go to the merchant. But you can skip the merchant if you're like, I don't have enough gold or I don't want anything that they've got. You can just skip them. There's rest sites, which it's like a little like a campfire flame. And here at the rest site, you can actually regain some of your health, which is good.
I remember going to those often.
Yeah, and you'll get those sometimes, quite a few times on the path, which is really helpful, especially if you're fighting some of the enemies there that just keep pounding you. But you can decide to rest, or you can smith cards, which basically you basically enhance one card out of your deck. Sometimes it's worth doing if you're not losing a lot of health points. Maybe it's worth, you've got a card that you want to enhance a little bit. I didn't do it too often. I think I did it a few times. It was usually, like I said, only when I was like really in a good spot. But if you're hurting for health, it's really hard to pass up the rest site instead of going for the smithing stuff. Because sometimes you smith a card and it's like, went from 7 defend to 8 defend. It's like, well, that didn't really do much. So it seems like kind of a waste. But there's a question mark on the Slay the Spire also, which is events. And this is where it like is sort of a random narrative type question and answer type thing. So it'll come up with something and it'll say, do you want to give gold for this, or take this, or do you want to take this item but be cursed? And there's like different things you can answer. So most of the time you want to try to, I guess, make a pretty good decision, not be cursed or not be hurt with a lot of health points taken. But some people like taking the chances and getting like a relic, which is a pretty good item within the game itself. And then there's a treasure room also occasionally where you bounce into, and that's pretty good because that's just basically nothing but a treasure chest where you get gold and potions and other things like that. So and then of course there's the monsters and all that stuff along the way. So
and the boss rooms, of course. But
yeah, but like Mr. K was saying, that sometimes you're fighting one monster, sometimes 2, sometimes 3.
Three is usually when it gets really hectic.
Yeah, it just really depends on what you come across along the Spire. I know when I play, usually if there's multiple monsters, I'll try to hit the weakest one first, try to get it out of the way instead of getting hit 3 different times. try to get one of them down, hopefully to a point where within a couple turns, I'm down to like maybe 2 monsters instead of 3.
Yeah, usually I like to go for the monster that's dealing the most damage to me, or is like, I don't know, poisoning me or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's making my health go down a lot faster than it usually should.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot of strategy in this game. And when I first started playing it, I was kind of not really sure what I was doing or right or wrong. But the more you play it, the more you kind of learn from it and go, okay, I'm going to play this differently next time. And there's a ton of cards. I think there's like over something like 200 cards.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of them.
200 cards, 200 plus cards, 100 plus items to be found. A ton of stuff that it's just crazy. Let me see if there's anything else that we want to mention. There's the daily challenge too. You can do. So if you want to just play the game, you can play the game and be your character and do your campaign type battles and stuff like that. Or you can do what they have as a daily Spire challenge, where they pick the character you're going to be, and you get cards, and then you pick one of the lanes for the Spire challenge, and you basically try to do the best you can, getting the best points. And they have like a leaderboard for that day, so you can kind of see where you are on the leaderboard if you play. So did you do any of that at all? I know I did it a few times.
I don't think I tried it actually. I don't know. I think I was trying to get all the characters mostly.
Yeah. It's the daily challenge is kind of fun because it's, you kind of see where you are, see how good you did during the days. I think one day I did really well, not like in the top 10 or anything. I think it was like 60th that I was like, out of like a whole bunch of people, but it wasn't last place and all that. But it was pretty cool though. I mean, it's definitely, like I said, you got to really be careful how you use your cards and how you want to do them and stuff like that. And some cards you can't use. Some cards are like just inactive type cards. They get thrown into your deck, and so you can't do anything with them. Some cards, if you want to use them, you have to give up another card to use it. So there's a lot of strategy to what you want to do with it in the game and how you defeat these monsters and bosses and stuff like that. Graphics are like that's the case at 2D. Some of the monsters are kind of weird. I mean, some of them are kind of like blobs of something. I'm not sure I don't know what they are, and then some of them are kind of funky looking, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I like the designs of all the monsters, and they all have each, like I said, unique abilities. So it makes them a lot more cooler and have a lot more personality, rather than just you and them going back and forth until one of you is dead.
Right. Yeah. And like you said,
it up.
Yeah, like you said, some of them split and kind of go from one to 2 or 3 others. So that makes it even more difficult within a battle.
Usually it tells you beforehand what they're going to do, so you can prepare to kill them faster, or sometimes they'll just do it.
Right. Yeah. But I think that's pretty much most of what we wanted to cover on that.
Without, spoiling too much.
Yeah. So on a rating from 1 to 10, I'll give my rating first. For my rating from 1 to 10, I'll give this a 9. I like it because it's pretty, it's easy for me to play. I've really gotten into the game. I really like playing it. It's pretty fun. Again, I like the strategy part of it and trying to figure out how best to use the cards. So it's, the graphics aren't the greatest, but I think the game is fun to play. So it could be, it seems like a game that could have been like a deck building tabletop game that became a video game. So I don't know, just the way that it's played, but
that's anyways. What I was thinking. That'd be cool if there was one, if there isn't already.
Yeah, maybe that's something they'll do. Turn it into a tabletop card game. It could easily do that. So what do you think? What's your rating?
I would give it an 8 out of 10. I enjoy the game a lot, although I haven't played it in a while. I still think I'll definitely go back to playing it, especially since I like roguelikes a lot as is. And there's a lot of games kind of like this, but I think this is one of the best ones of them.
Mm-hmm.
Another game that's kind of like this is called Dicey Dungeons, and that's also on Game Pass, funny enough. And that might be a game might also cover down the line, but
Yeah.
highly recommend that game as well if you really like Slay the Spire. Almost said Spay the Spire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would give it an 8 out of 10. How about you?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, a 9. So 9 out of 10. So, all right. So we're going to shift gears and now move on to our next game, which is called Century Age of Ashes. And this is developed and published by Playwing Inc. They're located in Madrid, Spain. This game is rated T for violence and was released in this year, 2022.
Now, is it their first game or have they done?
They have
titles?
another game called Instant War.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one either. But it's a free game on Xbox Series X and on Steam, which I didn't realize it was on Steam till recently. I made the mistake of thinking it was just only on Xbox Series X and thought Mr. K was just going to have to talk about it all by himself. But I found out recently it was on Steam for free. And so I did get to play it a little bit, not as much as you did, but if you can give kind of an overview of the game, that'd be good.
So pretty much it's kind of like it's a full-on multiplayer game where no single player whatsoever, and pretty much you ride dragons and fight other people who also ride dragons, and that's a really easy synopsis.
So it's
we could leave it at that, but
right. And that's it.
All right, guys, see you later.
Yeah.
Indestructible gaming.
So this is it's only online multiplayer, right? There's no local multiplayer.
No.
Yeah. So then you fly on dragons in what they call an arena, which it's not your typical like stadium arena. It's
it's usually like it looks open
mm-hmm.
and it goes out decently far. It's usually like a canyon area with a lot of rocks and a lot of little buildings you can go into and fly around. And speaking of flying around in this game feels really tight, like really good. Yeah,
that's one thing I was going to say that I noticed just playing it for the little bit of time. I thought the flying around was really
satisfying.
Sharp. Yeah, it was really sharp. It's really cool when you're flying the dragon like right across the water and you can kind of do like a speed up flight and it just like you can see like the water coming behind it dragon. The graphics are the graphics are really good in this game.
Yeah, they look really nice. What Musket Shot was saying, when you get close to the water, that also increases your boost, which you can use to go even faster. Which is very good for fighting because fireballs will come after you. You might want to evade those a little bit.
Yeah.
But back to the arena stuff. There's so far from what I've experienced, there's only 2 types of modes you can play at the moment that it's just random each time you go into online. I'm assuming they'll add more since this just came out. And it seems to be gaining a little bit of traction. I haven't heard any of my friends talking about it, but I've seen a decent amount of players on it.
Yeah, so there's what, 3 versus 3 mode and then 6 versus 6 mode where it's like just basically 2 teams, right?
Yeah, and then you have the arena mode.
Okay.
Which I'm assuming is just a free-for-all. I haven't unlocked it yet.
Okay.
But because I've been waiting to play with some friends, and the 3v3 mode goes basically that's your beginner mode, and you can only play that till you're level 5. After you reach level 5, you cannot play that mode anymore, which is also why I've been waiting for my friends, because I didn't want to play too much of it because I won't be able to play with them.
Right.
But I've been still playing the other mode, which is like you said, 6v6.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty good because that alternates between two modes. You have your normal deathmatch mode where you shoot fireballs and everything. You can shoot fireballs, you can flame throw people, like burst fire at them, which does a really good amount of damage when you're up close.
Mm-hmm.
There's also ice and all that bunch of different abilities. There's 3 classes you could choose from. I forgot. I can't remember the names at the moment.
So there's I wrote them down: Skeldian Windguard, Nerdor Phantom, and Svard Marauder.
Yeah, see why I can't remember them? And they're a little not something you can remember the first time hearing them.
Yeah. And I guess there's some new classes that they're going to be adding in the coming months.
Of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, each of these dragons from these 3 different, I'm going to call them guilds, from each of these 3 guilds have unique abilities to each of them. But you're not limited to that one dragon that they have. You can unlock more dragons for each guild as you play. Either that, or if you really want to, you can go out of your way and spend actual money on these dragons.
And you can, there's a character that, or a person that rides on the back of the dragon. So I think you can customize your character, right?
Yeah, you can customize the character and the dragon as well.
Yeah, so you can do like different colors. Or
of course, you need more dragons to do that. And to do that, you need to get dragon eggs. Either buy them or you just get them naturally through the game.
Yeah, and that's where you can hatch your own dragon.
Yes, if you hatch them, they'll come out as a baby, and you have to do these little missions in normal games to progress them.
Okay.
Which isn't all that difficult from what I've played.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a tutorial at the beginning of this that'll help you learn how to fly and do battle and stuff like that, which is
I'd recommend doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful.
Because sometimes the 6v6 is a little hectic. Because you're going to be dodging fireballs left and right. You're going to be flying really fast through areas. So I'd recommend doing the tutorial. Unless you want to go in at the deep end really early. But
yeah,
that's up to you.
Right.
I guess more fun that way.
Yeah. The battles, I know the flying, I felt, like I said, it is really cool flying the dragon around and stuff like that. You can zip right around and stuff, and you can slam into the rocks and buildings and stuff like that. And it doesn't do too much in the way of damage. You can zip through like tunnels and between buildings. It's really cool.
And some tunnels might have some wind in it and will pick up your speed. And you'll just zip right through them. You don't have to worry about crashing or anything. It'll just take you right through it.
And there's different things that you can get to help yourself within the battle, like sort of like health type things and stuff like that, right?
Health, shield.
Yeah.
I think one that automatically gives you your rage, which basically I think gives you homing fireballs, and it also increases their damage, so you can kill people rather fast. But yeah, I mean, there's pickups you can grab. There's a lot of maneuvers you can do. You can roll. You can, speed up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really cool game. I recommend go checking it out. The soundtrack is pretty good. It gives you medieval vibes as you're flying through the dragons and shooting other dragons down.
Right.
And like we said, the game's free. So it definitely doesn't hurt to check it out. If you don't like it, move on. I mean, if you like it, good, play it. Yeah,
exactly.
Who knows? You might be playing against us at some point.
Right, yeah. I think the thing I had the most difficulty and I have this problem with anything that's like an airplane type game, is that depending on your view and stuff, it's hard to follow something that's either flown over your head suddenly the other way or underneath you the other way or something like that. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, the good thing about the game is that it automatically locks onto your target. So once you keep shooting and you're behind them, you can just keep going.
Right.
And it'll just automatically lock, and you don't have to worry about missing your target or anything. Usually, if you stay right behind them, you'll hit them.
Yeah, I know the
But-
fireball thing when my dragon had the fireball thing, I was shooting and it went pretty far.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I
goes
wasn't
pretty
even-
far.
Yeah, I wasn't even that close, but I was hitting things from a distance. So I was like, wow.
Yeah, the only true way to avoid fireballs is, or like, because fireballs kind of act like missiles in this game. And the way to avoid fireballs is by going behind rocks or really fast past rocks. And I do like that a lot. That's a really cool detail. But yeah, I mean, really cool game. A lot of different dragons. If you want to use microtransactions to get these dragons, go right ahead.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I think they're more cosmetic than they are, upping you in the game of dragon riding.
Yeah. I think that's where a lot of people buy that stuff, is they want the cosmetics of the game, different looks of the dragons and stuff like that. So,
And you can mix and match these dragons too in your customizable options menu.
oh, that's cool.
So you can
didn't
change
know
their
that.
saddle, you can change their horns, their tails.
Hmm.
I'm not sure about the colors, but I know you can change the heads as well as, pretty much anything. Pretty good and wide customization. As long as you have dragons, of course.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty good game. Pretty good looking game, especially if you've never seen this game. I definitely try looking it up. Let's see what it looks like online. It's pretty sharp looking. They did a lot of work on it, and the way the dragons move and turn and fly, and the way the wings move and stuff. It's almost like you're watching on like a movie. It's pretty wild. So what would you I don't know if do you have anything else that you want to talk about on this one?
Nothing really. I think we managed to cover most. Oh, wait, hold on. There is a mode I forgot to mention. Of course, you have your free flying mode, in which you can just freely fly around wherever you please and just get used to the controls, kind of like your training.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you're curious, yes, they do actually put an AI you can just shoot down. They won't attack you. It's just there for you to, spend some time getting used to everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And the other thing is, as well as the normal team deathmatch mode, you have I forgot exactly what it was called, but I'm going to call it the Horde mode, the gold Horde mode. And basically that mode, you have to collect as much as gold as you can for your team and bring it back to the area on your side. Other people from the other team can also steal gold from you if they kill you, as well as bomb the little stronghold in which you bring all the gold back and you'll lose gold. I wasn't a big fan of that one, but I mean, it's still fun. It's still riding dragons is really fun.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah,
really good with that.
Yeah, it is pretty neat. So what would you rate it?
I would give it I'm gonna give it like an 8 as well. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a really good game. I mean, just 8 alone for the actual flight mechanics. It's just really fun to fly around.
Yeah.
For like a dragon game, I wasn't expecting like this good of momentum in terms of riding. I thought it'd be very floaty. I thought it would be very janky at times. But no, they polished it very well, and flying around really feels smooth. Like you think it would.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any games that involves flying dragons other than like something like, I don't know, DreamWorks How to Drain Your Dragon, the video game, but I haven't spent any time on that. So I can't really tell you if that's better or not. But I'm assuming Age of Ashes is better.
All right. Yeah. 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 I was surprised I didn't see this. Didn't really know about this until you told me about it. So I'm surprised it didn't get a lot more publicity, because it is pretty nice looking.
Yeah,
So-
I haven't seen any trailers or anything about this game either. I just kind of found it in the Xbox store.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know why they haven't, it's a really cool game.
All right. I'm not going to give it a rating only because I didn't get to play it as much, but I would say that if you like flying type games, I would definitely give this a try. I
If you
think
like
you'll really
dragons
be happy.
as is, might as well go try it.
Yeah, I think you'll really like this game.
Or How to Train Dragons. If you like that movie,
Yeah.
it might
right.
make you feel like you're in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Anything else that you want to add to those two games?
No, I think that's it for this episode.
Okay. Yeah. So what do we got? What are we going to be playing next episode and talking about?
Next episode, we're going to be brawling through different universes in multiverses. This is by Warner Brothers, and this is their new fighting game that's coming out very soon.
And this is the alpha version?
Yes, this is the closed alpha. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're going to be checking that out.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you'll take a listen to that episode as well. Thank you for joining us. And
stay indestructible, folks.
Talk to you next time.
Peace.
Thanks.
Game over.
Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you enjoyed the episode. We're on Facebook and Twitter, and if you go on our website with the same name, you can also find us on all the other kinds of stuff you can listen to us to. Anyways, hope you have a wonderful day, folks. Stay indestructible, and peace.